Fuck you. Now we're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors. Guy Santos, I believe, is a draft and stash. Primarily, the two guys that we are talking about are Ryan Rollins and Patrick Baldwin. Supposedly, Patrick Baldwin has continued to impress. Like, supposedly, he's incredibly smart, high intellect, and they believe that he could make an impact on the roster sooner rather than later. And I want to hear your thoughts down below. Out of these three guys, who are you most excited? Again, I'll remind you, Guy Santos has not been signed, and if I believe from everything I've read, Guy Santos, he played in Brazil last year for Santos, not Santos, Sao Paulo, Minas. My apology, I literally mentioned two wrong basketball clubs, but Minas. And I believe what they're going to do with Guy Santos is most likely send him over as a draft and stash, hopefully in Spain, Turkey, or Italy. So out of Baldwin and Rollins, who are you most excited?
We got no love for Mac McClung. Oh, are these just rookies?
Yeah, just rookies. We could talk about Matt McClung and other bottom of the bench guys, but I wanted specifically to talk about this year's rookie class. I think we're in a what is your thoughts, I guess, between Baldwin and Rollins? Who do you think is going to make more of an impact? I probably think you're in agreement with me that it's Baldwin, but
yeah, Rollins will be nice long term, I think. But Patrick Baldwin Jr. out of Milwaukee, I mean, I think if he went to a different school where his dad wasn't the coach, I think he probably would be. I think his stock would be a lot higher. I mean, it's kind of. I don't know too much about the Milwaukee basketball program, but, can't be. It's not a Duke. It's not a North Carolina. I'm really excited to see how Patrick Baldwin plays because he's kind of like a point forward in his own regard. I mean, look at him. He's tall as hell.
6'9", but he has no shot creation. I personally see him as a guy that, yes, he can. He's not really a passer. He averaged like 1 assist a game. Does he have the ability? Dude, my problem is I really think Patrick Baldwin, at the very least, he's a similar player to Otto Porter. But at best, I see Patrick Baldwin being a very poor man's Michael Porter Jr. from that season that Michael Porter Jr. was like the second coming of Kevin Durant.
Baldwin can't shoot like that, though.
He can, though. Everyone, if you read his pre-draft stuff, every single person basically said that it doesn't make sense for someone who has such good shooting mechanics to have such a bad shooting year. And from what I read, the reason why he shot so bad was, I believe it was almost 90% of Patrick Baldwin's shots were heavily contested in college.
I mean, there you go.
And he took, I think, 60% of his shots were difficult shots, and only like 10% of his shots were off of catch and shoots. Most of his shots were off the dribble or like him attempting to create for himself. And this is what a lot of NBA draft analysis realized was, oh, this guy can't create for himself. He can't create. He was put in a league where he should have been able to, look at Santi Aldama. He played in the same level competition that Baldwin did, and he averaged 2 back-to-back seasons, basically 25 and 13,
Okay.
On 50% and 35% from three. He put up huge numbers because he was playing in lower and Baldwin struggled, but everyone says Baldwin played with nobodies. So
yeah, and he also played 10 games. So,
yeah,
I mean, you can use a Colin Sexton example. Sexton shot last season before he got injured. He played, I think, the same amount, 11 games, maybe 9.
And he
shot horribly. Yeah, he shot horribly. I mean, sometimes you're just not, especially if you don't have too much support with your teammates. It makes sense. So, yeah, I'm sure he's a better shooter than his stats give credit to. I would imagine he's going to have an impact on this team this upcoming season.
You think?
I would imagine.
I just think it comes down to how well of a shooter he actually is, and will he I just get scared that does he need his measurements. He was one of the most unathletic guys at the NBA draft, and that's kind of one of my fears, but I just think it comes down to, will this be a team that relies on they added a lot of veterans this past season. So I think Patrick Baldwin out of Ryan Rollins and the two of them, he's definitely going to get the most playing time. If we had to put money on it, I agree that he's going to be the guy who at least probably plays 10 to 15 minutes a night at the very least. But again, I get scared that I think it comes down, do you agree with me on this, that his playing time comes down to his shooting? Maybe his defense, but I think it's really his shooting is what's going to keep him on the floor.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think Kaminga and Jermichael, I also think kind of how they play will also maybe be a little bit of an indicator.
Yeah.
I mean, Kaminga wasn't a bad shooter last year at all.
He wasn't terrible. It was just that, like, you know, Kaminga. So you remember I talked about Kaminga was supposedly shortchanging the Warriors. Supposedly amongst the Warriors organization, people aren't happy with, I guess he's kind of reserved is the way to put it. And I guess the organization isn't a fan of that. They feel like he isn't putting the work, like he's kind of been distanced this offseason. Like a lot of people, I assume in the Warriors, I guess, organization were expecting him to, after this season, to come in and work harder. But Stephen A said that it seems like he might have just distanced himself, even though he just made his international basketball debut for the Republic of Congo, or Democratic Republic of Congo, and put up 18 and 10, I think.
There you go, man. I think he's got enough raw talent as well. I don't put too much stock into that. I mean, you could look at even Ja. You know, we talk about Ja partying a lot. I just think more so that's a Warriors thing. Like, you hear nonstop reports about, like, Jordan Poole, Moses Moody, like, they won't leave the gym. Like, they're just working.
Yeah.
All they're doing is working. Kaminga, I don't think he's not working. Like, I think
he's definitely working.
I would imagine he's just more to himself.
Yeah, it seems like he's reserved. He's also from the Congo, so, you know, he's not from America. So he just probably just feels like, you know, he's always done his own thing. So when he got to the NBA, he won a championship. He was a lottery pick, top 10 pick. So I feel like probably in his mind, hey, it's been working so far, so why change it? And I agree. I don't believe that he's not practicing. I don't believe that he's not working out. But what I think is, I mean, it's definitely interesting. What?
If it goes on for another year, maybe if we're having this conversation next year, but I think the way he played in his limited amount of time, and we saw him get some starts there at the end as well. I mean, I don't think. I mean, if you got a guy like putting up essentially when he would start like 17 and 8, I mean, I don't think they'll be complaining for too long or murmuring for too long. If we go into next offseason and they still have concerns about his work, if Kaminga does not improve this season, that's more of a kicker to me.
So listen to this. So Moses Moody played average during the regular season 11.7 minutes a night in 52 games, while Kaminga played 70 games, about 17 minutes a night. Out of those 2 minutes, do you think, I think Baldwin's going to be more in a Moses Moody role?
Was that Kaminga?
Kaminga played 70 games, 17 minutes a night.
Yeah.
Moses Moody played 52 games, 11.7 minutes a night. I think, if I had to be honest, I think Baldwin will probably play, 11 minutes a night and play 50.
Oh, okay.
I think he'll have more of a Moses Moody role his rookie year than a Jonathan Kaminga role. Like, Jonathan Kaminga was an actual part of the rotation.
Yeah. Looking at his starting stats right now, 12.3, 5 rebounds, 6.5.
How many games did he start?
12.
12? Okay. Yeah, so I definitely say what?
Well, so, like, if you look at, first month, November, 7 minutes a night. 2nd December, 12 minutes a night. January, 16 minutes a night. Then you saw the Draymond Green injury, and then you see the minutes go up 16 to 25 in February to 23, and you see an increase in every single stat here. So they kind of eased him in there. It was almost like the Rockets with Josh Christopher, where he's still playing in almost every game, but they're easing him in there. You know, maybe he's getting those 7 minutes a night, he's getting those 10 minutes a night. Then he starts, you know, kind of getting adjusted to the NBA flow, NBA speed, and they start playing him about 20 minutes a night. And you know, his post All-Star stats gained 8 minutes a night. His points went up from 8 to 12. Rebounds doubled. I think he's going to get a big opportunity, but yeah, I don't know if Patrick Baldwin's going to get necessarily that kind of run. I mean, that's 25 minutes a night when Dre goes down. I mean, that's some solid time. He's going to have to come out there and be really efficient for him in order for them to trust that. Because when you're playing with Steph Curry and you're playing with Golden State Warriors, you got to play in the system. You got to know what to do. You got to know what not to do. You got to know where to be. You got to know when to cut. You got to run in transition. You got a lot to do a different things. So I think they'll probably just kind of play it by ear. I like it. Take the Moses Moody approach.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think just ease him in there, and they were doing the same thing with Kaminga. It's just that Kaminga was surprised everyone was able to make an impact sooner rather than later. So that's why Kaminga ended up becoming a key part of the rotation, which Patrick Baldwin could do himself. But I think, yes, he's going to start off in a Moses Moody role. And I think it comes down to his shooting and his defense. And you just need to know. I think come January, we'll know if Pat Baldwin's an actual part of that rotation or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I expect Ryan Rollins, they're Jordan Pooling him. Ryan Rollins is a guy I think who has the potential to be a CJ McCollum type player. And for me, if you look at how Jordan Poole was brought into the NBA, his rookie season, Jordan Poole, yes, it was during their bad season. But the following year, Jordan Poole only played 20 minutes a night. And for me, maybe Jordan Poole might have not been the best guy to compare him to, but I think what they're going to do is Jordan Poole spent a lot of time in the G League. I think Ryan Rollins, you're going to have him in the G League for a while. And they did this with Damian Lee. Damian Lee, when he came out, I know he started off with the Atlanta Hawks, but before that he was with the Santa Cruz Warriors for a year. And after playing a little bit for the Hawks, he got his shot with the Warriors, and he ended up playing 4 years. And in his first season, actually with the Warriors, he only played 11.7 minutes a night.